Hey, AfterBuzz TV fans, tune in now. We're discussing how to get away with murder. Call it Mother's Intuition.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Yeah, let the buzz begin.
yeah.
Call it Mother's Intuition. This is episode 7. We're getting very close to the end, guys.
So close.
Too close.
It's getting good.
Yeah, it is getting very good. We got a full panel, back again, full
Yes.
strength. We're in an awesome recap. April, where can they find you?
Hey everybody, as always, you can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant. I accidentally forgot my laptop tonight, so I won't have the chat up, but we
Classic
can.
April.
Classic
Oh, God.
April. That is actually very true. But I do have some good comments from last week, and we're going to have it up here,
Yeah,
too.
we'll get the chat. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
Awesome.
And you guys can find me at On With Omari on Twitter and IG. Also, Omari B on Snapchat for those of you that don't find me annoying. So.
Oh, okay. Hey guys, I'm Sterling. You can find me at Sterling Cates.
Awesome, and I'm JB. You guys can find me at Hey John Blake. Let's talk about this episode.
Twitter is blowing up right now, by the way. I'm
Yes,
like,
it
I'm
is.
having a
Yeah.
hard time keeping
We're
up.
getting so close to the I guess half season finale, whatever they like to do.
Mid-season.
I know.
Mid-season.
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 Pretty intense episode. Mother's Intuition. She's really not joking around with her rules.
That is
No.
true.
Yeah.
And Wes just
Poisoning,
coming
yeah.
in
There's
hot.
a
Right.
lot of parallels between the case and Annalise that we saw throughout the
Yeah,
episode.
absolutely.
I felt that.
I'm impressed she's always sort of been like the mom of the group, but like as a boss to just welcome that roast
Yeah.
was
I
pretty
think she
intense.
could sense that her children, quote unquote, were getting to like a boiling point with her. That you
Yeah.
could just see their tension, you could see their animosity towards her building up. So she just needs to have like a release,
Right.
a refresher, so to say, and just let them get off their chest. I think it was healthy.
I do too, and sometimes you just have, like, you can tell when someone's about to just, like you
Blow.
said, literally blow up. So it's one of those things, like, sometimes you just need to listen to people. Somebody needs to say something sometimes, and then it makes them feel better getting it out. Now, it's pretty tough when those are negative things about you that you're listening to,
Right.
but I think that she knew, like, whatever they say, I already think, and I can take it, so let me just
Yeah.
help them
I
a
can't
little
help
bit.
but wonder, though, if these things that they're saying are going to come back to bite
Well,
them in the
it already
ass.
did with Laurel,
With
right?
Laurel, well, you're
But
my
with-
puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say it again.
sort of. I do think that through communication though, it all kind of works out. We've seen so many time and time again that when they don't talk about something, it just goes astray and like becomes a way bigger problem.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's very hard to like sit in that chair and be like hated on.
They're probably
so
a couple
intensely.
seasons past needing to do that
Right.
Woven session.
Yeah.
So
I'll just tell Annalise, like, haters are your motivators. Just let them,
Right?
just let them hate on you, girl. Just stay strong. You got it. Be a
She's like,
boss.
I got this.
Right.
keep your
Take
enemies
it.
close.
It shows sort of her fiber. Like she is able to just sit there and like take it from like she got ganged up on so huge by that group of lawyers. Like
Yeah.
I think
they're-
though, like, sorry.
no, they're just like very good at what they're
Right.
doing. They're kind of putting her on trial, so to speak, and to have that one after another is pretty insane. Like
Right.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I'd be able to handle all that hate.
And Michaela was like the only one to vocalize it, but I think they all have this deep love for her, and they don't understand why they feel the need to please her so much. They still want to be liked by her. They still want to be respected by her, even though they sort of hate her at times. There's still this weird,
Yeah,
like
Michaela
dichotomy
was,
between them.
and Michaela was saying that she was like, it makes me sick that I still want to please
Right.
you after
Yeah.
all that we've been through.
Right.
Right.
Together, but
I think the worst part of it was Wes, though, with him not saying anything because he's like, you
Wes.
already know how I feel about you. Because it didn't take me to like the moment when he was like, I care about you and da 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 da. It took me to the moment where he was holding a gun at her and shot her because he actually
Right.
did want to cause her some real pain in
Right.
that moment.
Yeah.
That's how I think he actually cares about her. That's why I think he didn't need to say anything. 'Cause
Right.
He's like,
Plus,
you
he-
know, I shot you.
Exactly. and the irony of
You know.
of the ending of him sort
Yeah.
of calling or getting immunity by selling her out.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
we'll get there, but
Yeah.
I did not see
that's
that
a
coming.
very
yeah,
two-faced
Right.
of Wes to do that.
Maybe it's
Um,
like an ulterior motive type of thing, but we'll get to it later.
Yeah.
We'll get to it later.
Well, no, I
I have ideas about it.
I was
Me too.
thinking we were kind of talking about how intense they were being, and how like they went 0 to 60 so fast, and I think it's when you're dealing with family and like they're kind of a family dynamic, like you
Yeah.
fight so much harder with your siblings and like with your family because that your bond is so tight, there isn't like a risk of losing them. You know, with
Right.
a friend, like you always kind of hold back. You're never like
I-
that intense because
I-
you like, you know, they can just stop being your friend.
Right.
I feel like now that wall has been broken down, like where they are being completely honest at this point, it makes them even more so
Right.
like family,
Yeah.
where they're not holding anything back and really putting their
Exactly.
feelings
All
out
out
there.
on
So
the
that-
table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, think about Connor going off on Wes a couple weeks ago. Now it almost makes more sense because you can say, I'll kill you. I mean, I actually did think he sounded pretty murderous at that
He
moment.
He did.
But you make a good point in the sense of like, you can't, if that's just a friend, then they're just going to be like, okay, well, bye, I don't want you
Yeah.
to kill me. But since they have this bond of murder keeping them
Right.
together as
Yeah,
a
I don't-
family.
Yeah, I don't think
it's
a little
fine.
argument is gonna go break
Yeah.
them up at this
Yeah.
point.
And to Sterling's point, I feel like a fresh beginning maybe can sort of occur with the Keating Five and Annalise. Hopefully, I feel like they can take a fresh start and be like a stronger bond and unite and communicate and be more honest with each other. Hopefully.
Well,
Minus the one
hopefully the
that's
end. Yeah, minus the one that's dead.
Minus,
Yeah.
minus the one that's dead and the
But we don't know
snitch.
if the one that's dead is
Wes.
the one in
True.
the Keating Five.
Right.
P.S. Okay, so we 100% ran out of time last week and forgot to mention that Asher obviously is not
Obviously.
under the sheet.
Yes.
Yes.
So we did run out a little bit of time. So sorry about that, y'all. But Asher, we know, is not under the sheet.
And now we know
Yes.
Wes isn't
Confirmed
either.
now Wes
Yes.
is not.
And Wes has been a person we've guessed all kind of guessed
Yeah.
at the beginning.
Yeah.
So that's good to have. I mean, obviously we were wearing down to options,
Right.
but it's
Right.
good to
There's
know
only a couple left.
one of those
Yeah.
big ones is off.
Yeah.
I mean, we can still theorize about Wes possibly being the father or not.
Right. It looks like a lot of people are so up on the chatter, really happy that Wes isn't under the sheet.
Nate
Someone,
better be under the sheet. I love that.
Bex G says Nate better be under the sheet.
Jose,
and
we're live now. We are live.
Yeah, now we
got
can see the chat.
We can see you, Jose. So
We see
keep
you,
coming.
Jose.
Keep
Keep it
yeah.
coming.
Well, yeah. Speaking of family and everything, let's take a quick break to thank one of our sponsors. We've got some awesome news for you guys. A promo code. HelloFresh is a meal delivery service that makes cooking fun and easy. And if you are very busy, like the Keating Five,
Yeah.
or like us.
This is what Annalise
it's-
does, I'm pretty
yeah, It's
sure.
huge. I mean, like she's
Right.
Chips in a bowl.
yeah. I don't know if they put vodka in there in the little packs.
That's probably for
but,
the best.
You know, you can Postmates that to go along with the meal. But no, it does make it really easy. You know, there's a bunch of fresh recipes, and they make it super simple by having like all the instructions step by step. So
What's this called again?
It's called Hello Fresh.
Hello Fresh.
And what's that promo code?
Fresh.
What's that
The
promo?
promo code is for $35 off your first week of orders.
Ooh.
And the promo code is BUZZ, BUZZ, like AfterBuzz.
Niles
So
React
fitting.
says, I'm under the damn sheet after that episode. That's hilarious.
Exactly.
Nice, Niles.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Niles
I
is
hear
our
you.
man.
It's a pretty intense episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get
funny.
back to the episode.
Thanks, Jose.
All right, yeah, should we get
One
into the
thing
case?
you should not eat, antifreeze.
Oh.
Not going to
apparently
be
not.
on
Yeah,
the
apparently.
HelloFresh menu.
It's not great.
Yeah.
No.
That's bad stuff.
I didn't know
Bad
that
scene.
before I
It's a
saw
bad
this
scene.
episode.
You didn't?
I didn't know.
Don't eat
That
it.
was like a thing
I thought it
that
was, like,
people used to
lean.
joke about whenever we were, or I feel like I always used to hear like, oh, antifreeze jokes, like for like women poisoning their husbands.
What
I was trying
crowds
to,
are you
I was
hanging
trying to
around?
think of a way
Yeah,
to
like,
say this without sounding crazy. But I
Growing
feel-
up, these were
Yeah,
jokes.
just-
You know, when
You're
people,
wild.
like that's
You
one of
are
those things that
crazy.
people always said that like women, because you know women when they kill their husbands don't typically do it through like a gun or like a knife like a man would.
They
They
poison
do
them.
it
Poison them.
secretly.
Right. Yeah.
And that's I always heard that like that's what women use with
Well,
antifreeze.
it's because you can get it really easily because you put it in your car.
yeah.
Anyway.
I'm also just an expert on that.
Do not
All right,
cross
I'm writing this
April
down.
or
Yeah.
Sterling in cold
car full of
climates
antifreeze.
at all.
We live in
yeah.
Southern California, so we don't have to worry about that too much.
Yes.
Okay,
I'm
let's
saying.
get into the quest.
Wait, is antifreeze for like the AC?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
You put it in your windshield wiper fluid
Oh.
like doesn't freeze because if it was just water, fun fact, it would freeze in.
But
in
is that the
cold-
cooling shit for the air or not?
No, that's coolant.
That's
yeah,
coolant?
That's
Oh.
coolant.
But we don't need to worry.
Anyway.
Educational show.
Seven
I was trying to
Yes.
get my poisonous
Anyway,
like
let's talk about the case real quick. The mom, really intense. I mean, she did kind of flip back to like loving mom. It was like a harsh lesson at the end of the day. So I'm like fine to admit that.
Yeah.
Tough
But
love.
Yeah, I think she took tough love to the
10th degree.
like way too far.
Yeah.
Plus, she just seemed like a not a nice lady.
Right.
Well, it's such a tough thing because she accused her kids of murder, which they were going to go to jail for a very, very, very long time
Right.
for. And it's like,
Serious
were they
lesson.
really that bad to her to where she needed to do this? But she's
clearly a
off. She fed
terrible
herself
person.
antifreeze.
Right.
And then in their depositions, hearing the way that she spoke to them, even then, it didn't really seem like, obviously the kids didn't love her or, didn't have much appreciation for her. But how do you expect them to appreciate you
Yeah,
when you
right.
say
I
the
can see
things that
why.
you do and when
Yeah.
you do the things that you do?
Right, and clearly their depositions weren't helping their case at all because anyone would have thought that they killed her
Yeah.
based on like what
Those
they were
texts.
saying.
Right.
Yeah, but
They have a very toxic.
And they still
relationship.
stuck around. Like, if I had a mother that spoke to me that way, I would just move away and, like,
Yeah.
cut off communication. But they worked for her. They went to family dinners every week, so they
Because
were still...
of the will, though.
Yeah, the will.
Oh,
I
the
think.
will. Yeah, that's true.
They trying to get
no,
that money.
Never mind. There goes that point.
Yeah. I doubt they're at the will anymore,
Just,
though.
I work remote only.
and the fact that the whole case was based off these text messages between the three kids, it's
Yeah.
like no one's hacking in these normal people's phones to see like these text messages. So clearly, like that all came together at the end when it was found out that she actually like saw these emails or
Yeah.
whatever. So that the fact that that was the base of the whole case in the first
Right.
place, it was kind of like
Yeah.
the mom did it.
I like being able to see Laurel kind of show out, though. We haven't, like, slowly but surely we're seeing each of the Keating Five be able to take a leadership role when it comes to the clinic or a case. And she, of course, like any first-time student would, was
Right.
really nervous, but I like how she kind of was just like, okay.
Totally.
And she
She's-
figured it out
Yeah.
fast.
Well, interesting point about Laurel during the deposition. Do you think that her like fumbling with the note cards was a bit of an act to like set
Yes.
up her attack?
I
she
thought it at
she went
first.
to like super confident
Yeah.
real quick.
She's
Right.
she's an actress in the show, Laurel. She's been
Right.
playing games. I don't know what other episode was where she was calling Frank, pretending to be upset. Like, she's been playing games this whole series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't believe Laurel's like fumbling as much as like when Asher did it and he was
Yeah.
like sweating
Yeah.
through his suit,
That
literally.
was genuine.
Through his suit jacket.
Yeah, because Laurel usually has her shit together. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't really buy her not being
Right.
on top of it.
Yeah, me either.
Plus, I think we've seen her family backstory a lot, and she has such a intense relationship with her dad. I can't see her surviving that environment and being so like frazzled by
Right,
that
yeah,
old
totally.
mom.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense to be like, oh, because then if they think she's not as confident, the mom thinks that she can kind of just go in at her. But I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it worked because
Right.
she got her to
Just
admit that
lure her
she
into
poisoned
the
herself.
trap.
And I mean, the best part about this case for me was that like kind of the parallels, but even though it's one extreme and the other, but it's kind of the parallels between like Annalise and this mom, and then her little babies under her are like acting up and
Yeah.
not appreciating her and the whole thing. So it kind of was like Annalise is like, listen, I get it, but I'm not gonna poison myself.
Exactly. she's pretty insane, but she's not that insane.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
fact that she could relate to what that mom did,
Yeah.
that's how she cracked the case in the first place. She was like, oh, obviously she tried to kill herself.
She's like, I'm almost there.
Because I'm almost there. I'm like going through the
Clearly,
same
just,
thing.
right
So
there with your
weird.
system. Right there with you.
Classic mom move.
Yeah.
Classic Annalise.
Feeling
Always right.
unappreciated.
When you have
Yeah.
ungrateful kids, it's tough.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
The Keating Five are so ungrateful. I still get
really
pissed.
are.
Every time they yell at her like that, I just don't understand.
Well, that's
I don't know.
Say-
She's put her. I mean, they've all kind of put each other through.
She's
Right.
done some bad stuff, but like
Yeah, to-
they would literally be in jail if she didn't do
Totally.
what she's done for him. And then like tonight when Connor said, if you had just let us go to the police right then, okay, like they're gonna you murdered a guy. You're all gonna go to jail. Like maybe you think now you should have gone to jail at the time, which you probably should have.
right.
But it's like, how can you? I get being mad because she's, put them in other situations and lied to them. And, like the thing that she did with Nate, she wasn't telling them that. They didn't agree
Right.
to it. But at the same time, you're still in law school. You're living a life. You're going to have a successful future because of her. So how dare you,
Right.
snap back at her?
Well, I think they just need like a healthy outlet or an outlet in general. I mean, they work in such high stress jobs, like very competitive atmosphere, cases that deal with like real people's lives.
Right.
They're also murderers. like escaping the
Ish.
law,
Yeah.
sort of.
They're not like
So-
directly murderers, obviously, but I mean, they did murder people. I mean, when I say like they're not directly murderers, none of them have killed someone on purpose. Wes didn't mean to just kill Sam. Asher didn't mean to kill the prosecutor, obviously.
Just because you didn't mean to.
I mean, they still did. Yeah,
that you
great
did.
point. They
Solid
still
defense
did.
right there.
They're at like
I didn't
work-
mean to.
It's a violent man.
at the
My bad,
least
Joe. I didn't
mean to shoot him.
manslaughters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just meant to hurt him a little bit.
Just-
Not kill him. That's all.
Yeah, on a lighter note, there's a lot of relationships that is kind of an outlet for them.
Yeah.
Obviously Oliver kind of the whole Connor thing, like they
Oh.
broke up for a while.
What did
now
y'all
they're
think
back
was
about
so
that
sad.
tonight?
I mean, it sort of took like a typical relationship story arc where like they break up and it doesn't work out and they come back together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like whatever, but I do like how, since there's both of them, they don't use like a gay character just to be like a token gay character, Like
Right.
they are different, they provide different things, and, it's very different nowadays because before shows I feel like would have like one
Right.
African American or one, like one minority group, and now I think it's
More diverse.
everything, like there's so much more diversity. It's like diversity within diversity.
From a
Right.
relationship point of view, like Oliver coming back to Connor kind of when he's drunk and feeling sad about himself. I mean, it's just like
We've all been
so
there.
typical, you know what I mean? But it is selfish in the fact that he was like, this is selfish. And Connor,
Right.
of course, because he wants him back, isn't going to be like, you need to leave, because he hasn't gotten to that point of
Being able to say no.
being
yet.
able to say no yet, because it's still so fresh and he's still so clearly in love with them. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of like whether that's a healthy decision for them to just hop back into it, because the first person that Oliver gets rejected from
Right. The first one.
the first one, and he's like, oh, okay, well, let me just go back to Connor.
Yeah.
It's like, is he really ready for that, or is he just doing that because he's,
I don't think
he's
he
giving
knows.
up?
I don't
It's so
think he knows
selfish.
I don't think he knows what he wants.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
broke up with Connor for reasons I'm still not clear about.
So
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah,
any of
You know
us
what I
are
mean?
really.
Can you explain that to me a little bit better? So I think he's just confused and he's trying to find himself still. And
Yeah.
Connor is like the comfort level. So
Fina says if it's meant to be, they'll come back together.
Yeah.
So,
But it's just annoying
I
to
agree
me,
with
though,
that.
honestly. And it's because it's just selfish of Oliver to be like, oh, I got rid. And I understand. I'm not, making the fact that having to tell someone that you're HIV positive not as important. Of course, that's like a crazy, and I can't imagine what that would be like to go through. But it seems like, okay, that situation with that guy didn't work out, so you automatically go back to Connor because you're feeling, the need for some sort of something. I
Right.
get it. I totally get it. I've probably done the same thing myself, but it's just, I'm just annoyed with their relationship situation. So Oliver being so selfish, it makes me be like, don't treat Connor that way, because it doesn't seem like, or I just can't imagine them so easily going back to like, okay, we're just back together. It seems like it's going to be something that just hurts Connor even more.
Totally.
Right?
But, that being said, obviously Oliver did backslide a bit, but
Yeah.
I think him admitting to it, like, before anything happened was huge.
Yeah.
Like, they were open about, like, the situation. Like,
Right.
he was like, I do miss you. Obviously, it hurts more now because I've just been rejected. Like, that is
Right.
the situation.
Ashley,
so they're both aware. of
Yeah,
what
Ashley
was-
Ennis brings up a good point here. Is he says he broke up with Connor to find himself, but he only went to another man, which is a good point, because he's
Yeah.
like, I don't know who I am, blah blah. But then he like immediately inserted himself in another relationship, and then when that relationship didn't work out, he goes back to Connor. So it's like he never took that time himself to like, if his reason for leaving was to find himself, he's not really doing that.
Right.
He's just always connected to someone else.
So
Right.
Bex G says their relationship wasn't healthy, too many lies. So Bex, what do you think now that they have more of an honest communication with each other? You think it's more of a healthy relationship for Oliver to go back to? Please let me know what you think.
Totally. Well, yeah, I don't know.
It's not professional voice.
I don't know if they're going to be like back together fully. I mean, like maybe they won't be broken up, but
Yeah.
I
I
think so. It's
in
like
every
too easy.
relationship, there's way many degrees of like it's complicated
Yeah.
on their
Yes.
Facebook page.
To say the least.
Do people still do that, by the way, on Facebook? Like, it's complicated?
I don't post
I
my
don't know.
status on
Okay.
To me, them sitting on the couch just like chilling after they hooked up, was like
That's a good
telling to
sign.
me that they're probably gonna get back together,
Sort
right?
of.
Like,
That
or
was
would
a
it be
good
like
sign.
we shouldn't have done that? I'm gonna leave.
I thought they were just chilling.
Versus
hanging out.
them just chilling, hanging out, and now
Yeah.
like they're back
Look
together.
nice, like just chill. You know.
It could be a
Right.
thing like, okay, we can just like hook up occasionally and actually still have a good, because things have been so tense between them, even though they're working together, but it could be turn out to be a good step in the sense of like we can really be friends and actually hang out. But I think it would be too easy for them to just automatically get back together, unless my theory is true,
Which is?
I'll tell y'all at the end.
Oh, okay. The suspense
Okay,
is
should
gonna
we
kill
get
me.
it?
I know you're
Shrouded
all
in
on your
mystery.
toes, right?
All right. Well,
Brothers.
let's move on to the next one. Bonnie and Frank.
Frank.
Pretty crazy. I did not see Bonnie's.
We've never seen Bonnie like that. I
right?
don't think.
I mean,
She was hurt.
She's.
She
I didn't know she
hurt.
was so
kicked
hurt by
ass
that.
before, but
Yeah.
like I was like, whoa. It was a crazy role
scorned.
reversal to see Frank so like
Defeated.
Yeah.
But
sure.
Frank did go to Laurel's house
He
first.
did first.
It's one of the
Right.
first things that we see is him like accidentally being there when she and Wes are hooking up. So why did he go to Laurel's house first? If he actually feels this, I'm crying,
my
please
point.
give me
He
another
doesn't.
chance.
That was
like,
my point. He went to Bonnie because he felt rejected by Laurel because
Yeah.
Laurel was with Wes. So he went to
Yeah.
Bonnie as sloppy seconds. Like,
Yeah.
Frank, that wasn't
Yeah.
cool.
So I
Doing
don't
the whole
believe it.
water work. I didn't believe it either.
I
Like,
didn't
bro,
believe
you
it.
just need somebody right now because you don't want to be alone. I
Yeah.
didn't buy it
Exactly.
for 1 second.
Just lonely, just
Crocodile
like Oliver.
tears.
He could
Everyone's
feel
just
bad.
lonely
Just
and doesn't want
lonely,
to be by
yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Sad,
Frank
pathetic.
has lost it.
He has lost
so
it.
cool.
And then he went right back to Laurel.
Yeah. But you know, he is very
Typical Frank.
convincing
Typical
though.
Frank.
He's very convincing in the sense of whenever he was sitting there crying to her and saying, I really need someone right now, which I don't, of course.
He needed someone. He just didn't care if
Yeah.
it was
Who it
Bonnie or
was.
if it was
Right,
Laurel, if it
exactly.
was like any other person.
And I don't, of course he needs someone in the situation that he's in. Like, he's in some freaking deep crap right now. And
He is in a bit of a pickle.
yeah,
for sure.
but he seemed very convincing to me, which makes me be like, oh, he's probably lied about so much other stuff.
No,
I mean,
definitely.
obviously we know that he has,
Yeah.
of course. But I was glad that Bonnie stood up to him because in that moment, I was actually like, okay, just let him stay. But now I'm like,
No.
no, good.
He convinced
No,
you.
but that's what I'm saying
What?
because of his tears and just
Right.
because I love Frank. I was like, oh, just let him, just like make him feel better for this moment. But then, obviously,
Fake
a few
tears,
minutes
April. Those are
later,
fake
I
tears.
was
They
like,
were.
no,
They
good
were.
job, Bonnie.
And
I would have changed my mind quickly.
Totally,
but,
totally.
yeah.
No, I'm so happy that Bonnie saw through that and she was like, I'm not falling for your act again. Sam
Yeah.
did it, like I did it all this time, and now like it was so clear to her. She was
Yeah.
like, it's as clear as day. I've never been more like
More sure about
yeah.
this, yeah. And the fact that she did risk her relationship with Annalise for Frank initially, and then he just up and left her.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I think that really put things into perspective. And I don't even know if it really. She knew how much it bothered her until he showed
was
up,
back,
and he
yeah.
was like, "Listen." She
Just
was like,
all-
"Listen,
Yeah.
I know you went to Laurel first.
Yeah.
I'm bored with you."
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't know. She just said you probably went
Well,
to
she
but
knows.
like she
She
knows.
knows.
Right.
She
Totally
knows.
fine.
Yeah.
And
smart.
and she
She's
read
smart.
it like instantly when she said that. Like he didn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
And they both knew. Like Bonnie is so much. Bonnie's awesome. Bonnie's
Yeah, I
my
like
fave.
Bonnie.
Yeah.
She's growing on me this season.
Yeah.
You left her in a cold
Surprisingly,
motel
me too.
room by herself, Frank? That's
Yeah, it's
so
pretty
not
cool.
cool,
It's
bruh.
pretty
And what was his excuse? Because he had to deal with something, or because he was doing the setting up thing?
Yeah, he
Which
was
okay,
like, I
makes
had
That he had
sense.
to like
something
do,
good for
like,
Annalise.
It
deal
makes
with
sense,
stuff.
but like afterward, and it even made sense where he's like, okay, I didn't tell you, I just left because I knew you would try and talk me out of it.
Right.
Okay, well once you're gone, shoot her a text.
Yeah, no, I think we talked about that on
Yeah.
a previous show. It's like,
Hey,
oh,
had fun last night.
Setting, yeah, exactly.
Anyway.
That's why I left.
Taking care of some biz
Right.
real quick.
That would have made
BRB.
things instantly better, 1,000%. But
Yeah.
the fact that he didn't do that is obviously very telling. But it makes me go back to, like we said, he showed up to Laurel's house 1st. We've seen Laurel this whole entire season call him and I love you and this and this and this. I thought it was fake, but now I'm like, okay, especially with all the stuff that's going on with Wes. But I wonder if we're gonna find out if she actually meant those things that she was saying to him, if he does still feel that way about her, meaning if Frank still feels that way about Laurel, or if she was just trying to get information out of him the whole time.
I feel like Laurel went to Wes because she knows that Bonnie hooked up with Frank when she went up to get her father. I feel like she could tell. They had that moment last week on the porch where she was like, nothing happened. I feel like Laurel could sense that something happened between them, and that's when she went over to Wes's house.
But she,
it was
had already,
after that moment.
but she had already been with him before
Been with
that,
who?
though.
Wes?
Well, not
No.
sexually.
Yeah,
but
sexually.
Kissy. Yeah.
All right, but last week she got sexual after she had that interaction with Bonnie. That's my theory. I feel like she's sort of playing Wes a little bit. Laurel is.
Well,
Yeah.
interesting.
I think she's gonna hook up with Frank, and it's gonna be Frank's baby. But I gotta save that for later.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Too
I don't have a
late.
prediction now.
I don't know.
Can we just like talk more about Wes and Laurel for a
Yeah.
second?
Let's go
Like
for it.
this whole
Let's dive
like Wes being like, "I wanted you forever," and like, well, I'm like, really? Because I never saw
That coming.
a moment of like chemistry. Again, I think that's just me interpreting this probably not the way that
No,
it
I
should
think
be.
a lot
thought
of
the
people
same thing.
agree with you. LC Bonds 72 says Wes and Laurel make me want to gouge my eyes out.
Okay.
I don't care about them. I do not care.
Totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sterling, you were saying that you're also not a fan of this.
Oh yeah, I'm not like a
This
huge
shit?
fan. I mean, like when they're together, it's fine, but I like don't think it's been because I genuinely
chemistry,
thought
you
that
mean?
Laurel. Well, because Laurel and Frank's chemistry is like.
Hot.
It's
Oh
good.
yeah, that is
You
like
feel that.
undeniable.
Straight
Yeah,
fire.
you
Yeah.
do. Even when he was like sneaking in her house and she was just like, you know,
It was
you
still
could
hot.
still, you could, it's still
Yeah.
hot.
Nice.
But even after she said, "I love you" to Wes, which
Yeah.
I guess we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, I don't know. I just like I don't think she can go from like 100 with Frank and then the next day being 100 with Wes. You know what I mean? Just like it's. Who
Serial
does she really like?
monogamous.
But the thing is, Laurel
She's
went through the
playing
really
somebody.
she went through the really bad time with Frank whenever she discovered that, or whenever he told her that he killed Lila. Like everything ended between them after that. So it has been a pretty good amount of time that's passed since then, and she was very like over it. He begged and begged and begged. I think this is literally back in like mid season 2. I don't remember when it happened, but that's why I just think that she has been over him for a while, and I don't see or I haven't seen the chemistry between Laurel and Wes, and I thought it was something that they were trying to force, but then now it seems more genuine. And you know, like you said last week, I may just be thinking that because they're on top of each other naked. So
Yeah. I
think that
of
does
course
help.
I
That
see
does
the
help.
chemistry
It
there.
could also be because now that she's with Wes, she like realizes that this is like how she's supposed to be treated.
Right.
Her thing with Frank was so messed up. Blah blah blah. Like it could be very like she does feel safe with Wes
now.
like you know.
Safe.
Yeah.
She went for the safe choice. 'Cause
Yeah.
But it's her feelings seem genuine for both of them, I guess. I think that they do. I definitely thought that they did for Frank. Now I think that they feel that way for Wes. I don't see why she would be playing him. Like I can't think of a reason that she would have to just hook
maybe
up
not
with him for
playing.
nothing.
Maybe that wasn't the right word. Playing him. I think maybe using him for her comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes
Not
sense.
necessarily
Kind
playing
of like
him.
everyone else
Well,
in
yeah,
the show, like
yeah.
Oliver and like Frank running
Exactly.
to wherever you're like being
Exactly. That's a
rejected, you
good
run to
point.
someone
Three
else.
men.
Yeah, like,
sort of.
oh crap,
Yeah.
Frank's gone. I need something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Someone commented, I don't know the name, but they said like the fact that she wrote Wes's name at
That
the
was Laura.
end.
That was Laura.
Yeah.
Laura.
Yeah.
The fact that she wrote Wes's name at the end, like when she wakes up in the hospital.
It's definitely means something.
That she's not like just playing him, that she's like genuinely concerned.
Or
about
she
him.
knows
or she
something.
knows he's at the house.
Exactly. Or she knows
Or she
something.
knows that he's
Up to
Or
something.
thinks.
something.
Obviously, he's not at the house. We see him
Right.
in the jail or courthouse, whatever. I hate Laurel's eyebrows.
All right.
Sometimes we do.
Well, no,
Okay, well,
I do think that
Mole
there
Robert.
is like a genuine relationship with Laurel and Wes. You know,
It's a genuine, yeah.
they were friends for a while. Like
Yeah.
they were. I mean, there's always something else going on that's kind of fueling it. But they were
Yeah.
definitely talking a lot. They were
Mm-hmm.
working very closely with each other, so they got to know each other before. You know, they actually went
Yeah.
into a
Started
I
relationship.
buy the friendship. It's the relationship.
Right.
No,
I'm
me
not sure
too.
about.
And it's tough because normally shows definitely take you a specific way with couples or with people. But that it's confusing because now they've made Frank and Bonnie hook up, and now they're making Laurel and Wes. So it's like, normally it's like a Ross and Rachel. You know from the
Right.
beginning and for a very long time that that's like the end game, or that's who they want to be together. And it's
Hey,
like
Joey
they're
and
trying
Rachel
to,
hook up.
right? It's
Chandler
like
and
they're
Monica.
trying to put both
Just
of
saying.
them.
We were on a break.
Sorry. I just
Second
from
of
a
it.
guy's perspective, like we don't go like full court press on every girl that we think is attractive. So I think that, you know, day one of that class, he could have thought Laurel was hot, and, you know, she pretty quickly went in with Frank.
Yeah, true.
So, you know, there wasn't a whole lot of opportunity.
I mean,
also
who the
intimidated
show
by her
is
a
trying
little
to
bit.
make us like.
No, totally. I mean, it's a very incestuous show. Let's be real.
Like,
But
are they
when
trying?
you kill someone?
Are they trying to make us like Laurel and Frank, or are they trying to make us like Laurel and Wes? It's very confusing to me.
I
don't
mean,
They're just giving you
right.
options and let you
Totally.
decide
We
for
have
yourself.
options.
I
Yeah.
guess.
They
Who
show us the
gets
whole
more
menu.
tweets?
I am right now. I'm team Wes and Laurel because Frank is kind of in the doghouse. Right?
Yeah.
Ooh, Lieberdahl
not.
says Annalise told Laurel the puppet to hook up with Wes.
Ooh,
what if
maybe.
that happened? That's a
Maybe.
good
I
point.
like that
Maybe.
Lieber doll. That's
Yeah.
a nice
Me
little
too.
theory.
Yeah.
She did
Oh, that was
say
such a good quote when she was like, "Because you're my puppet."
Yeah.
Why? She was
Y'all
like,
are
why
stealing
did you
that
choose me?
quote that I was gonna
the
say.
best.
Sorry, you said it like 4 times
Now I'm
already,
gonna have
so.
to think of another one. Crap.
Just remember, reflect. There's plenty of quotes.
All right. Yeah, there was.
Yeah, no, this was a great episode. Annalise and Hargrove,
Yeah.
aka LaGuardia.
Oh yeah.
But her name is President Hargrove. We can call her by
She was great
character's
tonight.
name. They actually had some pretty good interactions with each other, which was refreshing.
Makes me happy.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah.
to see a friendship between them.
Yeah, they're still a little feisty at
Still a
times
little
with
bit.
each other, but
They've got their
working
guard
through it.
up.
I did like hearing
Her
Hargrove's story,
Yeah,
and
the
because
AA
it
meeting,
kind of
pretty
made her a
intense.
little more. It was definitely really intense, and you can. I
But
just
yeah.
like getting to know her more.
She, much more relatable. I'm kind of curious now about what's going on in her life, sort of, because it seemed at the beginning that she was kind of leading a conspiracy against Annalise.
Mm-hmm.
But she's been trying to open up to her so many times, like at these AA meetings and sharing that common bond. I wonder if there is sort of someone else behind the scenes like that was
Pushing
encouraging
it.
her that way, that
Yeah.
kind of started her off on the wrong foot with her.
Right.
Well, I think she did a really great job of being able to keep everything together at work when she was obviously going through these crazy things at home. But I think that it's one of those things that they put in the show for her to be able to be or have more of a connection with Annalise, because Annalise has obviously gone through some crazy stuff too. And I don't know, I just like her as a character for Annalise. Maybe
Yeah.
sexually. I don't know.
Yeah, someone just
Everything
said-
is sexual here.
Speaking of which,
King Bay fan. Oh, I love
King
that.
Bay fan.
Annalise and the
love
president will
that
smash in the
theory.
future.
We have to say this. King Bay fan says Annalise and the president will smash in the future.
I second that.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. I mean,
They're-
it's
they're
not
definitely throwing it
impossible.
down.
We've seen crazier things happen. So.
Yeah.
They definitely do have a lot of sexual tension.
I wonder if they
Right.
know that, like, as actresses.
Yeah,
Like,
what
if
if
they're like,
what if when Annalise was putting the number of the other attorney
That's
in her
right.
phone, she was just putting her own?
Give me your phone.
Yeah,
Right.
and actually,
Give me a phone
I'm the
call.
best family attorney in town.
Yeah, just it's me.
So,
Surprise.
I mean,
Hello.
is it crazy that they have more sexual attention than Wes and Laurel do to me? Like,
No,
you know what I
I
mean?
I
I'm
can
like,
see it. I agree with you on that
They're
one.
Yeah.
they're sort of equals. They're both like huge powerhouses in their own fields.
That's really
Like
attractive.
the president's obviously
Yeah.
the head of
Yeah.
the school, very successful. She is married though with kids. So
no,
that's-
not married
divorced.
anymore.
no, but her and
Well, no,
Raul
'cause
are
she was-
trying to work things
she was-
out.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to work things out.
But how do you know
well,
he won't
it's not
change his
gonna be
mind?
when she turns into a lesbian.
True.
And this was like,
Bisexual.
It might
bisexual.
help the divorce case though if they're contacting each other.
True. Yeah.
Or it might not.
they're gonna smash.
It might
They're gonna
lose
smash.
her. It does like
That's
to
all that
smash.
matters.
It could lose her custody of the kids.
Annalise has got to she needs some kind of love in her life since Nate.
Like, well, you can feel the chemistry
yeah,
off the
Nate.
screen. Oh, Nate.
Yeah,
Saw
Nate,
him looking
Nate.
good
So
tonight.
I mean,
As always.
And his suit.
Yeah.
so briefly
over
though.
Nate.
He
So
had a
over
meeting
Nate.
with the DA.
Oh, a meeting.
Yeah,
huh?
meeting. That's what they're calling it now. Just
Uh-huh.
billable
Oh,
hours.
Business meeting.
I liked how he handled things with Wes, though, because I feel like Nate, probably because he's been so connected to Annalise, has also been a little protective over Wes. Like, he seems to always kind of keep his ear out for him. So I like that he's like, watch out. 'Cause you
I
never
don't
know
know.
what's
I
up."
think it was him laying, like,
some
planting
seeds.
some seeds. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Planting some
sure.
seeds. Yeah.
Playing some
He
seeds.
definitely, I
No,
mean,
because
he
he's
said be
up to,
careful.
Nate is for sure up to something.
I think so.
Yeah.
That seemed a little fishy to me.
And so to like kind of get
Not
into
genuine.
Wes's ear, who's closest to Annalise, I
Exactly.
feel like that was definitely like a move.
Well, I mean,
I'm with you on that
he
one.
didn't say, "Oh, you're good." He said, "Be careful, watch out." So
Yeah.
I think he was
He's trying to
doing
get in
that
his
for a
ear. He's trying to
reason,
play
for sure.
mind games
Yeah,
with Wes, I feel like.
he's trying to get revenge on Annalise.
Yeah, he
I
definitely
think.
is. That's why
Yeah, I
that's why he's
wonder-
gonna die.
Ooh, crazy theory right now. Well, I think, given the fact that Wes is like in this whole immunity scenario, like, giving info to take Annalise down, I bet Nate is in a similar situation.
I was just about to say that. Give me some. I think they might even be working together.
Maybe.
I don't know if they're
Nate
working
and
together,
Wes.
but I think maybe that
Wes?
fuels this whole like fire thing.
Do you
when
think
someone
he's
dying?
Do you think he's asking for immunity for everything that they've done, or maybe just in something
I mean,
in connection
he's
to
got
the
some
fire?
stuff in his record.
I actually think
Let's
it's
be
going to
real.
be in connection to the fire. I don't think it's going to be for every single thing.
I feel
'Cause
like
he wouldn't
if
take
Annalise-
everyone else down.
I feel like when Annalise goes down for the but that immunity
no,
thing
that-
might
that was-
include everyone else.
And when they saw each other, that was pre-fire, I think, because Wes
Yeah.
saw.
I thought it was like
Annalise,
at the same time.
It was pre.
Like
Well,
she
I mean, it
was
could be-
in,
it could be
she was
very
just
close.
got
We're
put in
getting
jail.
close.
She just got put in jail. Laurel's in the hospital. I thought, and Wes is at the courthouse. I thought that was all kind of happening at the same time.
Him
wheels
getting
are-
the immunity thing.
Yeah.
I think the
Because
immunity situation has been like a wheel in motion thing for a while.
Yeah, because they told Annalise when she's already in custody that they have someone who is willing to like testify or whatever. So that's Wes.
Yes.
An anonymous
That's
tip.
why I thought it was like right there.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I don't think it was right after the fire thing. I think it was like
Before.
they were setting it up, hence why Wes like didn't say anything.
Or no, maybe it
in this
had to be
whole
after the
roast
fire
thing.
though. Right?
Well,
Oh,
no,
really?
I think.
Oh, you
he's-
think that was a
he's
long
in-
time
he's
coming?
in the room when like after the fire.
Because they said the
But I
charges
think-
were, like,
I don't think
arson.
it's like he made a phone call
Right.
after the fire and was like, "Hey, I'm gonna set all this up." I think it's
Oh,
been
I
like
think it's only for that.
like breadcrumb pieces. Like he's
don't
been
know, I
because
think it's
he
only that.
was looking at the contract. This must have been like a long time thing set up.
I
No, but
think
one of
he's
the
in-
charges was like arson.
Yeah.
And that would have to be after the fire though, right?
Right. It was
Right, no,
arson and
I think
manslaughter. Or
him
first degree
sitting,
murder.
murder.
him sitting in that room
Yeah.
was
After
but I think
the fire.
was after the
Yes.
fire.
Right.
But when he like saw Nate there, that was before. So
yeah,
like
yeah.
there were
Probably
pieces
Okay,
planted with
okay.
like the.
I see what you're
It's
saying.
probably
The-
because they are the ones who set up the fire thing, so he already knew exactly
what
what he
he
was
needed
doing.
to
So
do.
it's been in motion in that way for a long time, but it's only in regard to that. I don't think it's in
Yeah.
regard, or they said the charges, so it's not in regard to like Sam and all of that.
I
stuff.
feel like this
That
is
one
probably
thing can bring her
going
down.
to end up to be a thing that like Annalise knows exactly what's happening.
I
Like
agree.
she
Yeah.
probably orchestrated it so that Wes is the rat
I
or whatever
agree.
and gets immunity for everybody and
Yeah.
blah blah.
I think Annalise is pulling the strings with
Yeah.
Wes and everything else. I
Yeah.
agree with you.
I mean,
Ooh,
it's like
whoa,
hard
yeah.
for me to believe that Wes just like all of a sudden goes
flips it. Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
don't think he was flipping it. In my mind, like Annalise may not know about it, but I think he's not malicious towards Annalise. Like I don't know if he's gonna actually give the like cops, the fuzz, whoever's interrogating him, actual information. I think he's just securing like a ironclad
Just for
immunity
himself?
for himself.
But it was-
And then
it
That's
was
not
to
in his
talk,
character though.
though.
Wes has never been like
Well,
that selfish kind of
we've
dude.
seen people change like more than that. I mean, if he had an opportunity to make sure that like anything he's done in the past is like a-okay.
No, but he
I
was
don't
he
think
was
it's-
going to turn himself in like a couple episodes ago, so I don't think he's worried about immunity.
It's a different Wes.
I don't
He's
think it's
banging
about
Laurel
the
now.
old
I don't think
stuff,
so.
though.
Okay. We'll see.
It can't be about the old stuff. He would never bring every single person down.
Well, no, I don't think
Myself.
he's gonna throw anyone under the bus. I think he's just like saying that so he gets a insane immunity contract, so he can like never be charged, and then gives them false information.
Oh.
I mean, we
I
saw
guess we'll see.
him earlier lie about like who killed his dad
Right.
to the cops. So he's clearly not above lying under oath.
Right.
That was
Um,
dumb.
Right, and
That was
it's obviously connected to that. Like lying about that, he wants to make sure that the immunity thing stays on the stand. So I think he's trying to get away from that murder and
What murder?
the murder of Mr. Mahoney.
Yeah.
I like that prediction, King Bay.
What?
I have a
was
similar
it?
one, like starting an actual law firm, but we'll get to that later. I think you said that in the first episode.
Ooh,
Or the second one, like moving
he's gotta
on,
graduate
like
first.
post-graduation, like
Oh,
starting
yeah,
like a
yeah,
law
yeah.
firm or something.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
this is only like
Semester
year 2.
3.
I think they're sophomores.
Yeah.
I'm so torn between like whether I want Wes
Yeah.
to be like really like being a rat and like putting like
I hope
shit
not.
hit the
I would lose all
fan,
respect for him.
or if he's like a part of it.
I think he's a part of it. I hope so. If he's a snitch, like for real,
But then
for real,
if
it
he's a
would
part
piss
of
me
it
the
with Annalise,
off.
it's just like that happens every season of the show. It's like maybe something else should happen. like they turn on Annalise.
To me,
You're right.
the vibe that I'm getting right now is that, just like y'all said, Nate's probably up to something. It seems like, I feel like they could have potentially been working on something for a very long time, and then maybe it like went wrong somehow, because I don't think Nate or Wes would have ever set up her house to be burned down thinking that someone would die, obviously, especially, you know, with Laurel being inside.
Yeah.
But like maybe it could have gone wrong somehow, and maybe he doesn't even know that Laurel's in the hospital at this point. I mean, most everyone doesn't. So it could be that, and that they are going against Annalise. I feel like it's got to be one of the two. Either somebody definitely like set it up, or Annalise, somebody set them all up, and Annalise is controlling Wes to get out of it somehow.
What if the whole immunity thing with Wes isn't even connected to Annalise's arrest? Like, what if it has something to do with his dad being shot?
Wouldn't
like
put it
that
past
case
them
or
to
something.
just be a
But
Or another case.
They said the charges, though.
To him, but they said it to
Yeah.
her. They said the charges to her. They just said the immunity or whatever to
Right.
him.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, they could be setting that deal up with multiple people, and like the first person that signs, or like, you know, there's a lot of people close. Nate could give up almost as much information. You know, he doesn't know everything, but he knows enough to.
There's so many possibilities.
Only his name would be on his thing. Not everyone's name would be on his.
Right.
So who could it be under the sheet?
Frank could even be in a room, like with the contract.
Nate,
you know?
Connor.
Frank, Nate, and Connor
Yeah.
are the ones we have that could be under the sheet.
Well, I mean, yeah, Frank. Nate.
Or like Simon, but like who cares
Or
about Simon? No
Simon.
one cares about Simon, so that would be pointless.
I
Man,
think
crazy.
Sorry, I was
Yeah,
thinking,
I
and I
was
just
like,
like made eye contact with you.
Just deep in
It was
thought.
like, that's
I
a
think-
piercing look.
I think that
My soul.
it's my theory at this point is that it's Connor. Because
Connor, you think Connor's under the sheet?
I think Connor is under the sheet.
Ooh.
That he
Are we doing predictions
died.
now?
Well, ish.
Should we get into
Let's-
predictions?
yeah,
let's do it.
Okay, let's do it. We have to have the lights
have to have
before we
music,
can
or
talk
else it's
about
not
this.
real. It doesn't count if we don't have the lights.
Thank you, Fina Juliana, for thinking the same as me. But
For being right.
yeah.
Seriously.
My theory at this point is Connor, because, and it's still kind of the same as I said last week. I think that they're bringing in Simon and they're making these things happen with Oliver for a reason, like to put a pretty little bow on top of
Right.
his
So they're like a
story.
Romeo and Juliet
Right,
situation.
because think about every single other person. They all have like a story that, like in a matter of, you know, how many episodes are left in the season completely? 5?
Well, two.
Like
I
after the
think.
mid-season.
Oh,
I mean,
I'm not.
I think
sure.
they're-
There's 2 in the mid until we take
Yeah.
a break.
So let's say there are like 5 or 6 episodes total left in the season. I don't think any other story, as far as the people that we know that are not under the sheet, they still can go on. Connor's can kind of. I don't want it to. I love Connor. I would prefer it to be Nate, actually, because I love the Keating 5 together. But I think that they're doing these things to his character for a reason. Because he gonna be dead.
Some people in the chat are saying that
know.
Laurel's the one that dies, and then the person under the sheet
Survives.
survives.
Wait, they've already said
Whoa.
confirmed male dead.
I think
Yeah.
did it say dead or just confirmed male
Victim.
victim?
I think it's a victim.
Well, yeah. Plus, I mean, we saw Laurel is alive. I
But she
think
could die.
Yeah.
everything in like the hospital situation scene
She could
is,
still die,
is
though.
post.
But she's not gonna die because that's gonna be a
She's not
huge
gonna die.
thing of the baby. That's gonna be a
Yeah.
big thing.
You're gonna kill a pregnant woman on TV? That's pretty
I've
hard,
done it
Shonda. Shonda,
Yeah.
she's done it
Shonda
before?
has done that
Oh.
mean
Plus,
stuff
I mean, all of
before
that
with Dreamy.
all of that stuff happened after we knew that like someone else was dead. Like Bonnie and Oliver like came into the hospital. They found
Yeah.
out she was pregnant. Like,
Right.
Bonnie called someone. We still don't know who she called.
Right.
I do not think it's Frank now, based off of what just happened.
See, now I
The current
do think it's
relationship
Frank.
stuff. What, on the phone?
Yeah, I've been saying the whole time it's definitely not Frank, not Frank. But I think like in that stuff, obviously it's not Wes. Obviously it's not Annalise. It's not anyone at the hospital.
What?
So, and I feel
You
like that
think it's
wait,
Frank
wait.
that
Bonnie's
Bonnie's
on the
talking
phone
to?
with.
But they're gonna have to have some sort of. If it is him, they're gonna have to have some sort of like.
Or just, but think
Like
about it
bonding moment
in a
again.
moment like that where you think, oh, these people could be dead. It's
Sorry.
I'm not. No one's above contacting someone who they've known forever. You know what I mean? I don't
Wait,
think
no,
that's that
I think
weird.
Bonnie could have been calling Annalise because I don't think she was in jail yet. I think that was like after the hospital thing. They found out Laurel was pregnant. Then they go back to the scene, and that's where like Oliver plants the phone that he wipes.
Thank you, Bex G, for like bringing some rational thought. The person under the sheet is dead. That's why they're under the sheet. Like, yes.
Yeah, true.
So
I'm
like,
pretty
those
sure
theories that
definitely
Laurel
said-
is the dead one, like I
I'm
don't
pretty sure they
agree
definitely
with
said
that.
male is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a guy.
No.
It's definitely male, and I think it's Nate.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's
I mean,
sure.
we know
Nate.
it's not Wes now, even though that because he was in a different setting, it made it sort of perfectly clear that it was after the thing.
I think it's definitely not. Or
I think
we-
Wes is still alive, but
Yeah,
like,
we can
and
confirm it's not him.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean,
They said they would tell us at the end of each
I
episode
know they
a new
said that,
person.
but it wasn't like there was a clock and a calendar and it was like after the
But
thing.
they said they would tell us
I
a
know
new
they
person at the
said
end
that
of
they
each show.
promise a lot of things, April.
Good. Touche.
Who do you
Good
think's
point.
under the sheet, Sterling?
Every time I like blink, I have a different idea.
Yeah, I know.
But I feel like if Annalise is orchestrating this whole thing, I think there's the most motive for it to be Frank under the sheet.
Yeah.
Doesn't she want Frank gone the most?
Yeah.
But
She
isn't
does.
Frank
Is that too
crafty
obvious?
enough
I think
to
that
get
is
away
too
from?
obvious.
I feel like
think
it is too obvious.
but maybe
It's,
so
it's
obvious.
gotta be
is
Nate or
right.
Connor.
Well,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't think it's Connor. I don't think it's any of the actual K5. I think it's like the only
I think it
actual
has-
ones are like Frank and Nate.
But would it be that devastating to lose Nate? They all said
True.
it's devastating.
Fair enough. Well, then it's
we
probably
love
Frank.
we
It's
love
probably
Nate
Frank then.
as
Right.
a character, but I would not be devastated.
That's true.
I'd be more
That is
devastated
a
about
good point.
Connor, especially
Yeah.
now that they're giving like. This is what makes me think it could be Connor, is because they're giving the fans like, oh, he's getting back with Oliver. This is what we
Exactly.
want, and then we're
Yeah.
gonna kill him.
Yeah.
They're giving
They
him
do
good
that
stuff.
to our hearts and our souls.
That's
and
why
it's so mean.
I'm leaning towards Connor now. Also, at first I thought it was Nate for sure, but I think that for the emotional impact, it kind of has to be one of the Keating
Totally.
five. Which
Actually,
Connor's like the only option.
I'm gonna disagree with you.
Okay.
I'm pretty positive now that it is Frank because I think that he.
Did you just say it was Nate?
Check this out. I did.
That's
I did.
amazing.
I'm flip flop.
I'm sorry,
after
y'all.
the whole
We're
thing,
crazy.
I'm
Flip flop.
clean slate.
All right, John Kerry.
I retract everything I've said before until today. Right now, it is Frank because I think Wes is securing that like ironclad safety net for himself, and because he knows that Frank is dead and they can pin everything on him afterwards instead of Annalise.
I actually
so that's
do like
the plan.
All right, JB.
All right.
All right.
And
Coming
if
in
Frank
hot.
dies,
Alright.
like that's gonna suck. If Frank dies, like Nate, like whatever. Like we haven't seen him in a couple episodes. He's more of a minor character anyway in terms of the
Damn.
storyline.
No,
Well,
I
like,
think
Damn,
he's
Nate.
a big
They
guy, but like
they just
he,
threw
you
you
know,
under the sheet.
he's only
He
you know,
made his
he's
true
not
though.
as integral
Yeah.
as Frank. Like Frank is way more intertwined into
Yeah, I
the
agree with
fabric of
that.
the group.
Yeah. Crap. Now
I think that's
Frank.
what.
Peter Nowalk says it's a main character. Is Nate a main character? Is he?
JB
No.
Bus, yes.
JB
Joe
Bus.
Loco.
I think I'm
Joe
on the
Loco.
baby bus, kind of. Got one
You
foot in
just-
the door.
You just you put one foot in the door for me as
Yeah.
well. I'm leaving out the window. but-
Awesome. Well, let's wrap it up then. 'cause
All right, I just solved the whole thing.
Oh yeah, people. But seriously,
Oh, can I read a funny tweet from Fluorescent Blue?
You may.
Laurel has slept with Wes a grand total of 2 times and is already saying "I love you." Get it together, sis.
Ooh.
Get it together.
Ooh,
It was a little
good
quick.
stuff.
I like
Good
that.
stuff.
Thank you for your tweet.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll see. We have 2 episodes left. The next episode is the last one where we find out someone else before
The
the
last
finale
one.
Yeah.
of the mid-season. So until then, where can the people find you?
Y'all can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant.
Shout out to Sue Wynn, and also you can follow me on Twitter and IG at OnWithOmari, also on Snapchat at Omari B.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates.
And you guys can find me at Hey John Blake. Thanks for everybody who's commenting during the show.
You guys are
We
awesome.
love all of your interactions.
We'd rather
Keep
have
tweeting,
Connor.
commenting. Totally.
Sorry,
and
it's
Connor,
we
but,
will see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Bye. See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.